Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, and today we are going to be talking about Diary of a Dummy. Now this is the 10th book in the Slappy World series, and the 5th to follow the living dummy himself. Now, this one takes a strange dive from the typical dummy formula, where Slappy is being built up for the meat of the story, and he actually takes a huge back seat in this one to allow the diary to kind of be the driving force behind this thing, and a potential treasure. Of course, if you've read it, you know what that actually turned out to be, and it was a huge change-up. So, this is one of the most different Slappy stories, I'd say. It has the formulas there, has very similar ideas, but it changes things up a lot. Not that I'm reviewing it yet, but I'm just saying, here at the bat. So let's see if it's any good. And now for the blurb. I'm gonna have an aneurysm reading this for the millionth time. This is Slappy's world. You only scream in it. Billy McGee finds a ventriloquist dummy at the dump. The dummy's name is Slappy, and he causes a whole lot of trouble. See how instantaneous that was? But Slappy isn't the only thing Billy discovers. There's a diary as well. What do you do with a diary written by a dummy? Do you read it? Billy has to figure out that answer fast. But Slappy's diary isn't just daily thoughts and feelings. There are clues that lead to something special. Is Billy brave enough to follow Slappy's darkest secrets? Now, Diary of a Dummy has a bit of a lore rewrite here. Kinda. And it may involve the twist of the book, the gold, referred to the entire thing, being Slappy's sister. Slappy's sister shows up in this one, and she isn't to be fucked around with. This story, I think, is actually very good, arguably, even if flawed. The main characters in this one, or at least the main two siblings, because there's another character introduced later on, have a strong moral goal in this one, which is something I really can't say for any of these books. It's usually, let's stop the madness, or let's get Slappy out of our lives, and I mean that for dummy stories specifically, or let's get to the bottom of this mystery. It's all that usual shit, or just don't die. No, these guys are actively hunting this gold, which is Slappy's sister, as we find out by the end. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's not on the downsides. And it's an interesting goal, because they want to find the gold to help their father, because their father is in a financial situation. I mean, he's working as a garbage man. Yeah, it's a little depressing. Not that it's, sorry if anyone is watching with that application, but for them, it's not enough to hold their family. And it's like, combined with that and the fact that their parent, their mom, I believe, just perished or passed away, whatever you want to call it, very recently, I believe. It's been a hot minute. It's like, yeah, that actually adds some level of depth to these characters, what I like, and it adds a reason to everything they're trying to do here. It's good. It's good stuff you don't usually see in Goosebumps. Like the huge change-up this book is as a whole. Now, I just want to talk about in particular, now for the actual entire book. This thing is a breath of fresh air, and if you are not a fan of the dummy formula, you're gonna love this. I don't mind it as long as it's not mind-numbing, and sometimes it really can be. Like, Slappy Birthday You can be a little mind-numbing in the mid-portion of the book. It's a better first bit, decent climax, there's a huge change-up, but in the middle of that's like, it's a living dummy. You know, this has so much change-up. Not only is Slappy not very present in the actual meat of the story, I'd say between pages 30 and 100, he's not really there. He really is not at all. It's really his diary, which is the driving force of this one, instead of Slappy, which I like. It's a nice change-up, and there's a different goal here, again. There's also the fact that Slappy doesn't waste any fucking time. The very night they find him in the first, maybe 10 chapters, he goes rogue, and he does not waste any time basically going absolute nuts on this family. You gotta read it to find out, but he is no chill at the beginning of this one. I think it's some of Slappy's finest mischief, if you will. He did a great job. Stine and Slappy, I guess, because I mean, he's the one who typed it all, Stine. But we also have Slappy in the climax, because he finally turns at the very end when we meet Goldie. And that is the fucking hugest change-up I have ever seen from a Goosebumps Slappy story, where not only, again, we've seen this before, there's more dummies than just Slappy, but it's not only is it Slappy's sister, she's also really a threat, and she isn't just at the very end, like we've seen, I believe, a good few times. She is at the end, just in the climax, when all shit's going to hell, and there's already been literal her presence has actually been in the story prior to that, not by a long, but in the haunted house segment, which we'll get into later. I have my issues with it. It's out of place. Spoiler alert. But Goldie is a very solid antagonistic character here that doesn't do anything crazy, but it's just a nice switch up from just Slappy. And then there's a dummy fight potentially and some drama between the two, and let's just say it turns out with Slappy on top. And it's just killer stuff. I absolutely loved what we got out of this book, but it wasn't just the typical Slappy stuff. It's really, really refreshing, even if not reinventing the wheel in its entirety. But definitely there's some new bumps in that wheel, maybe some diamond embedding. And yeah, this is a very fun and entertaining story that really does change things up, even if flawed. Apart from the middle of this book kind of lacking the goods you want, it's a bit drier. There's the still fact that there's an entire segment here about a haunted house that is completely out of place. It's not exactly, hey, let's forget the plot and go to a haunted house, but it's like, it actually leads there. Yet the haunted house itself was not only kind of filler-esque, with it actually being haunted. Let's just say Goldie's been doing a lot of tricks while these kids were there. Won't say that much. Read the book. It's like, why? Why did we get this? It feels really out of place, and it's not a bad little segment. It doesn't belong here at all. It's a Slappy story, not a haunted house story, even if, it relates to the story in a feeble way, which was just a sly attempt at rough exposition for a character. It's not bad, again, but it just doesn't belong, really. It's like looking at Dummy Meets the Mummy, and knowing with that book it's going to be a little different when it comes to perspective of what we're looking at here. Slappy books is like, oh, so our villain's Slappy. No, that one had two villains, and we have a very even distribution of our focus on each. Arigatis has a lot of page count. Slappy does have a decent amount too, and they get equal parts at the very end, because, they're fighting. But this, it's like, where was the haunted house advertised? I don't know, it's just really out of place. It's not actually haunted, please read the book. It's just Goldie, but really, why was that there? Enough rambling about a segment. It's not even that long, but it's like 20-some pages, I believe. Apart from that, we also have the ending. Yeah. Oh, God. This is my real biggest issue. And if you remember what I said about Ghosts of Slappy's ending, horrible ending, by the way. Really solid book until the second half kicks in. I'll say that much. Go read it. I recommend it, even though I give it a decently lower score than this one. It's like, my brother. When you look at the ending for this one, you can really take what you said about, I said about Slappy and take it here. It ruins what we were building up. I mentioned it earlier, but there's some level of a moral choice going on here, a moral focus. And that is these sibling characters, Billy and his sister, I forgot her name. I think it was his sister, wanting to find money to help their dad financially. That never goes anywhere because they never find the money, which is fine because it's like, it could have had some kind of message slapped on. I mean, like, you didn't need any money. You just had to be there for him. That would have been fine with me. I would have liked that, actually, possibly even more. But we didn't get anything. In fact, the ending is the kids get enslaved by Slappy after Goldie gets defeated and turns into a mouse, I think, or a cockroach or something like that. And it's like, okay. I would laugh so hard if it weren't connected to these two stories. I mean, Ghosts of Slappy and this one, with the dark ending to a book that had a ending that should have been happy, I'd say, or at least not involving Slappy winning in any capacity. It just didn't work. I mean, you get a one here, actually. Easily just had defeated Goldie, and then they defeat Slappy. It's like, okay, fine. No, he won all around, and it just feels bitter, and it doesn't feel... What's the right word? It feels underwhelming. In fact, it feels like I've been copped out of what we should have gotten, which is, again, a lighter, happier ending. I know I'm talking about fucking Goosebumps, but, like, come on, man. You were building that up, and you just... No. I give Diary of a Dummy a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. Who would have thought? I thought I was going to give it an 8, but, I always lean back and forth on this type of stuff. I think Diary of a Dummy is really good, but it doesn't quite reach 8 rating for me. It's very close, though, I'd say. Diary of a Dummy, very refreshing, but heavily flawed, and I couldn't exactly forgive a lot what I didn't like here, aka Haunted House being completely out of place, the middle kind of lacking, and of course, the ending. Hope you guys enjoyed this book review. Tell me what you think about Diary of a Dummy down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.